Hi, this is Sherry from OurLifeHomeschooling.com. I am sharing today another mom interview that I had with a friend of mine that I haven't seen in several years. We went to high school together, my friend Beth. We met in high school. After high school, I haven't seen her except for Facebook, seeing the updates that she posts of her family on Facebook. So we reconnected when I heard that she is homeschooling. And I just wanted to ask her a few questions about it. At the beginning of the interview, you'll see that she mentions that she did not plan on homeschooling. And it kind of hit me with this interview that almost all of the moms I have talked to never planned on homeschooling. This was not in their future, not something they ever thought they'd be doing. But here we are. And we're loving it and just enjoying the fruit that we're seeing from it, having close, strong relationships with our kids and learning alongside with them and just giving them a childhood that we want for them to have. Beth is in the thick of homeschooling she has 4 young children. 2 of them are in elementary grade, and then she just added a kindergartner this year, which if you know anything about adding one more child, especially a kindergartner, it's very difficult because they're starting the foundation of everything. They're learning to read. They're learning the basics of everything, and it requires a lot more one-on-one time. And she also has a toddler. I think a ton of you are going to relate to Beth's story because many of you are there right now. You have kids that are in the elementary grades, and then you also have a toddler or maybe a baby, and you're juggling both of those things. It's not an easy task, and I think you'll find this interview really encouraging. So here's Beth. Hi, Beth.
Hi.
It's so nice to see you.
Great to see you too.
And it's really been a long time for us because I haven't seen you since high school.
A while. Yeah, it's so good to see you.
Yeah, we went to high school together. We went to Lidditz Christian School since, were you there the whole time?
Seventh grade.
Okay, 10th grade. And I came in the middle of 11th grade and was a just completely new student. And yeah, everyone was welcoming, and that's how we know each other. And we've kept in contact through Facebook, just seeing each other's families, and it's been fun seeing the pictures of your kids and
Yeah, you too.
grow. Yeah. Well, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, my name's Beth. I have 4 kids. I have 2 girls, age almost 11 in 5th grade and age 8 in 3rd grade, and a son who's almost 6. He just started kindergarten this year. And I have another boy who's 2. I see, little boy who's 2. And my husband is a sales manager for an energy software company. So he works from home, which is awesome. It's so wonderful for us to all be together, but it's also can be a challenge. But mostly it's awesome having him here. We met in Harvey Cedar's Bible Conference. We've been married for 13 years, and we moved to New Jersey 9 years ago. So we love living here. We're close to the beach, and we love being at the beach. We're at the beach as much as we possibly can be. We're about 12 minutes or so.
Oh, wow.
It's fun.
That's really nice.
No, it's awesome. And my husband is there he's there 365 days a year. He's fishing, and he was fishing today. And if he's not fishing, then he's surfing. And he just loves being there so much. And I do too, just not as much when it's cold.
Yeah.
So I'm here like 5 months out of the year, and he's the rest. But it's such a blessing to be here. We never thought we'd be able to live here, and his job brought him here, and his job has changed, but we could probably live anywhere because of what he does, but we won't leave this area. We just love it so much. There's just a lot to do. So, yeah, do you want me to start talking about homeschooling? Or
Yeah, just tell me, how did you end up homeschooling? Did you always plan to? Was it on your radar at all? Because you were homeschooled, right?
No, I was not homeschooled. My husband was homeschooled
Okay.
through ninth grade, and his brothers were homeschooled as well. And I was not. I went to public school through all the way through sixth, and then starting in seventh, I went to the Christian school.
Okay.
So it really wasn't on my radar. Even though he was homeschooled, he didn't push it. It was really my decision, and I'm the one who went to him and said, hey, what do you think about this? And he's like, hey, like, if that's what you want to do, because he knew how hard it was. You know, he saw his mom and how hard, especially with boys. We didn't have boys at the time, but he knew with 3 boys how hard it was. And so he didn't say anything. He's like, if that's what you want to do, I completely support you. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I really think I want to do it. So it started when my daughter was probably 3 or so, and everyone around me was sending their kids to preschool. And my mom, who was teaching kindergarten, said, you can probably teach her everything she needs to know. You probably don't need to send her to preschool. And I was like, yeah, I think I can do this, because we were just playing games. And I mean, she was learning her alphabet and numbers just by playing. And I was like, this. So at the same time, I was meeting people. When we moved to New Jersey, I just started meeting homeschoolers. It's like in Pennsylvania, I didn't know anyone who homeschooled, and I moved to New Jersey, and it felt like everybody I was meeting was like, not my friends necessarily, but like I just kept meeting people, and I felt like God was just telling me that this is an option, and this is something I need to consider. And that's really where it started. When I also met somebody who was doing classical conversations, and that starts at age 4. And so I was like, I got this. So Brecken was 4, and my oldest daughter was 4, and we started with that. And we've been there now for 7 years, and it's been really, really awesome, really an amazing community of people, and just a great curriculum to work with. So it's been good.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
We don't do classical conversations, but I think if I had found it at the beginning, it would have definitely been something that really interested me. I didn't find out about it until we were well into, several years into homeschooling. We kind of already had our thing. We had our group. But I know a lot of people that are part of a classical conversations co-op and absolutely love what they have to offer, love what they do every year, love the philosophy behind their work. And that's cool to hear.
Yeah, there's a lot of really great things about it. I mean, I think there's a couple times I wanted to quit, and I'm fine. Now that my daughter's a little bit older, there's more to it that I'm seeing. It's finally like, I can see the reason behind why we've been doing why we've been doing it for 6 or 7 years. And it's just been, and they do presentations every week. So they have to get out in front of their peers and do a presentation every single week.
Wow, that's great.
It's intimidating, and I never did that. And I was terrified to be up in front of people, terrified. And so I was like, that in of itself is worth me going. I'm like, you know what? If you learn how to communicate in front of people and you can do it well, let's keep doing it. Friends are there, and it's just, there's a lot of really good things that it offers. And so it's a good program, and I love that we're part of it. And our friends are there, and it's just been a really great community.
Yeah. I can say the same about our co-op. There are people, like, our kids have grown up together, and you just experience a lot of things. Like, we've been on a lot of field trips together over several years, and in a co-op, you really, it's not like your kids are just friends, a lot of times you've been to these people's houses and they've all been to yours. And that itself just builds a really special bond
Oh yeah.
with families. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, these people have become my best friends, and then you you have so much in common with them that it's like family. It's true. And it's hard to walk away from that. Even if you find another co-op or anything that might work better, you're like, you know what? These are our people and I'm not leaving my people.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's really how we feel. The cool thing that I've noticed with, well, our oldest is now in 10th grade. And so a lot of those kids have grown up. There have been several that have come in and out, but a lot of them have grown up together and they've started taking initiative. They plan things to do, like they'll have game nights randomly, once or twice a month, pool parties. They connect on chat groups, and they really have made their own community, like on top of what we do at co-op. And I love seeing that. I love that they have really close friendships, and
That's really special.
it is. And yeah, I'm just thankful that they have great friends.
I noticed one thing too about homeschooling is that my daughter is friends with kids who are like 2 years older than her and a year younger than her. And that didn't happen as much when I was, when we were at least for me, it didn't. Like I was just friends with the kids my own age. And I noticed they are all in classes at the same time together. And so they don't even notice that they're in different ages. It just it works really well. And it's kind of fun to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So how many years have you been homeschooling? 7, did you say?
I think 7. Yeah.
Wow. So what advice could you give to new moms? There are a lot of new moms this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I was giving some advice this year to some people from our church that were like, "What do you do?" And I said, "Keep it simple." My advice is to keep it simple. Find a language arts program, one that works. Find a math program, and then do read alouds. Just read. If you can get those like 3 things in and done, I think you've had a good day. And that's a lot of what we do, actually. If there's nothing else, if nothing else happens, if we have read a couple books together, if we have, if the kids have done their reading and their math, and everything else is crazy around us, I'm like, you know what, that was successful, and we're good. And I think the other thing is, you could research forever for the perfect curriculum. You think it would work, and then you realize, you spend a lot of money on it, and you realize that wasn't the one for you. So don't overthink it too much, because I've done that. I've, researched and thought I picked the perfect thing, and started it and realized it wasn't the right thing. So don't hold, you got to hold, you don't hold stuff too tightly either. It's like, you know what? And if halfway through the school year it doesn't work, guess what? You homeschool. You can do whatever you want. Switch it.
Toss it.
Yeah. It'll come back to it another time. Maybe it's not working right now, but it'll work later. And so I think that's what I was thinking. That's probably, and be easy on yourself. It's not easy. It's really, really hard to do this. I cry a lot.
Apart.
But it's so worth it. It's so worth it. It's just, I've never done anything in my life that's this rewarding. And I'm just really thankful for it. So I don't know, for people who are just starting off, just keep it simple, find a good language arts program, find a good math program, and do a lot of reading together. And then all the extra stuff you can add in as you feel like you need it. Whatever you think you need that you want to add it in later, but don't go crazy off the bat. You'll stress yourself out.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I completely agree. We had a day like that today, actually. Our son's birthday was yesterday, so he got some new toys, a couple Lego sets,
Yeah.
So he was distracted from the very get-go. Like all he wanted to do was put his Lego sets together.
Yep.
And of course all the other kids wanted to help. So that
Yeah.
was just kind of what they were all bent on doing today. And you know, I feel like when you've been doing it a little while, you can just relax over stuff like that. Just, it's fine. Like they put their Lego sets together. We got through math. We did a little bit of writing, and then I read to them. And you know what? It's okay because not every day is like that. You know, another day we'll do more. And today
Yeah.
was just a rainy day, and we had been partying yesterday. So we just gave ourselves some
Yeah.
room to just relax. And when you've been doing it a while, I feel like you can have that confidence that those days are okay. And there are other days when you really plug away at things and get a lot done.
Yep.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say has been some of your biggest challenges?
I was worried about this year because this is the first year that I had three in, and I mean, it's just three, but it's
It's
the first,
a big deal when you add one more. It really is.
every time you add one more, it feels a little overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
So, where are we in? We're in the middle of October. We've been at it for 6 or 7 weeks now. And it's been a little challenging. I have my oldest. Thankfully, she is super independent and loves to work on her own. So I give her a list of what to do and I send her on her way. It's been hard for me to figure out how to bounce back and forth between the kindergartner who needs a lot of work and who's super active and very busy, and then my third grader who also she just needs she needs me to sit with her. Mm-hmm. So and then the 2-year-old who's climbing on the furniture and climbing on the counters, and he's constantly breaking their toys. It's just I feel like it's the time. Those are my two challenges, really trying to figure out how to navigate teaching between the two kids, just bouncing back and forth. Okay, I'm going to set you up with some math. Okay, you do your math. I'm going to work with you with math, and then just bouncing back and forth while my 2-year-old, he's just busy. He's a busy 2-year-old, and he's just a feisty one. So he gets himself into a lot of trouble, and that's what 2-year-olds do. Yeah. So those are really my two biggest challenges. When he takes, what God did this. He takes morning naps. So, and he's the only one who's ever taken a morning nap. They all took afternoon naps. So he gives me, I have 2 hours in the morning that
nice.
Like 10 to 12. And so we get stuff done. And we're all like, okay, what do you guys want to do? It's like the 2 hours of the day that everyone.
2 hours. We gotta get it all in 2 hours.
I'm like, Luke, do you want to put Legos together right now? You can. Like, girls, do you want to do this right now? You can. So it's like we're all running around going, okay, wait, we really should do work, but like, do you guys want to put this craft together right now? Because this is the 2 hours that you have to do it. So we're working through it, and he's going to get easier. But that's our biggest challenge, really.
Yeah. So have you discovered any tips or anything to manage the different ages, or do you feel like you're still kind of in the thick of figuring that out?
Well, thankfully, my oldest, it really has helped that my oldest is on her own. So I'm like, you know what? She's good. And I do things with her in the afternoon that when everyone else is done, I can work with her solely in the afternoon. Not really. I'm still trying to figure it out. I feel like every day is different. I don't really have any brilliant.
Yeah, and really, probably the best advice for that is to just keep at it, because I know that I was at a stage like that. I feel like I was at a place like that so many times with just maybe a toddler that was difficult, or just trying to manage what sometimes seemed impossible. But it's not a permanent place. Like, they do grow up.
Right.
And things change, and then you're just so glad you stuck with it, because you start reaping the rewards, and you still have a real close relationship with your kids. You're spending time, you're learning and growing together, and it really is just worth it.
It's, and this is such a short time because I know he's going to grow out of this. I know that it's going to be, I'm going to see the rewards. I remember seeing pictures of my other son when he was the same age. And I look back and see pictures of him crawling across the table of books that are, all over the place. I'm like, oh no, he was doing the exact same thing. I just forgot.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. And it's all good now. So it's still warm outside, so I can put him outside, and it's a safe, it's a safe yard to put him in. So he can run around outside a little bit and get some energy out.
Yeah, so that's nice. We have one son, one of our older sons, was just and still is a child that just has a ton of energy. And I remember when he was little, I was just beside myself one morning. I didn't know what else to do. He had so much energy. I told him to go run around the house 3 times. And at that moment, that was like my punishment. It was not a punishment to him. This was fun. This was a game. And then it was like, how fast can he do it? And then he was timing himself, because they have that energy and they need to get it out. They need to find some way to express it. And ever after that, when I realized that was not a punishment, that maybe that we should just be doing that every morning. That was helping us.
Yeah, well, that's what I think for my 5-year-old, who's got so much energy too. Boys just do. That's how God created them, right? So I've said, listen, we live in a cul-de-sac. I'm like, go do 10 loops in the cul-de-sac. And actually, we timed it, and one lap is 1/10 of a mile. So I was like, if you do laps, you've done a mile. So we time, they'll take my phone and time themselves to see how fast they can do 1/10 of a mile or whatever. So, I need to do that more often. Just get them out there and say, listen, before we start, everyone go do a couple laps. I think it will help you.
Yeah. And I think boys too, some boys, not all boys, but are competitive. Like our son that I had run around the house, he's really competitive too. So when I add timing into it, how long it takes, it was like, this was real. This was a real competition to him.
Mom, what I win?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another thing, is just learning your kids, because they're each so different. It's funny because our daughter Jenna, who comes after Luke, the one with a lot of energy, is the complete opposite. She will sit and draw for an hour, and she's very quiet, does not have much energy, just wants to sit and read and draw and be by herself, go, in her room by herself. And so it's just learning each of their personalities and learning how to help them, and it's all part of it.
Yeah, but aren't you so thankful that you can just be you're their teacher too? You're your mom, their teacher, and you can figure out how to help them in ways that maybe they're not going to get in a school setting. You can tailor that to them. They're not going to be able to run around, the cul-de-sac or the house before school starts in a school, but they can do it here, and so much better for them.
Yeah. You're right on. You can tailor it to their needs, to their personalities. It's very individualized.
Yeah,
I do love about it, and I feel like it's producing. I've heard people say this, and our oldest isn't there yet, but I've heard so many people say that colleges are looking for homeschoolers because they're just unique. They're out of the box, and I think a lot of it has to do with that. The fact that it's just it's focusing on their uniqueness and their gifts and their talents, and it's really developing those for the kids.
My husband was homeschooled, and it was only through 9th grade, and then he went to a Christian school for the last 3 years. But he spent 3 years in like a hybrid school. It was, this is just off the subject a little bit, but his abilities, that the skills that he learned by homeschooling, he put himself through college. He was like the number one in business in this business school. And he was such a self-starter and very self-motivated. And I was like, that is, it's some of it's personality, but I'm like, that's homeschooling. Like, that's because he had to do stuff himself. You
Yeah.
have to, you're not like necessarily spoon fed. Like, you got to learn how to do stuff yourself. You got to figure out math by yourself. You know, like if you don't understand it, like you got to figure it out. You know. And there's just a lot. I'm glad you said that about the colleges, because I do think about that. And I mean, it's not right around the corner, but it's almost like it's gonna happen soon. Before we know it.
Yeah.
And it makes me. I've seen a lot of families who have graduated their kids and very successful, all homeschooling. Very successful family. Like the kids are doing what they want to do and they're doing it well. And it makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's really encouraging. Well, thanks so much, Beth. I've really enjoyed this conversation. I've enjoyed catching up with you because it's
Me too.
22 years. Hard to believe.
I know.
And thank you for sharing with us. I know this is encouraging to a lot of moms. I just know that it is. I hear from people, and I know a lot of people just connect when they hear the personal stories from the moms and just the personal struggles and what drew you to it. So I just really appreciate you sharing with everyone. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me to do this. This was fun.
Sure. Have a great night.
You too.